Alright, we finally got the 11:15 spoilers, and Vegapunk is continuing to expose things about the ancient history of the world, Void Century stuff. So, one of the big things is that apparently the Void Century ended when Joy Boy was defeated, and that there's multiple continents that existed thousands of years ago, but they're now under the sea. There's other things that are happening, of course, and they're pretty exciting, and we'll get into it. But coming off of the previous chapter, we saw the world reacting to Vegapunk, revealing that this current world is also going to sink under the sea due to rising sea levels. We also saw Saturn encountering the Mother Flame. Not too much happened from that, but we had a lot of speculation coming off of it. Then, at the end, Vegapunk revealed that Joy Boy was the first pirate. But let's get into it. It starts with reactions about Vegapunk's words all over the world. Once again, you know, we're seeing multiple reactions to this from other characters that we haven't seen in like 15 years, I suppose. Vegapunk says that poneglyphs are records of history that talk about a massive battle that took place during the Void Century. So we knew this. To be honest, it's like a lot of the stuff, if not 90% of the things that Vegapunk is revealing here are things that we already kind of knew. Now, I'm not saying every single person reading One Piece like automatically knew this. I know that if you're following my videos or just the spoilers or the current chapters in general online, especially through YouTube videos, you're most likely, you definitely have more insight into the story than what the typical reader or viewer of the anime would. So, you know, for us, we kind of knew this already just by paying attention and putting things together, or just listening to other people explain it to us. And I understand that the actual people within the One Piece world need this to be revealed to them, because like 99% of them don't know anything about anything. But I was just hoping that, you know, Oda would throw in a little something extra for the actual audience who has been paying attention. I mean, it was nice that he revealed Joy Boy was the first pirate, but he doesn't really seem to talk anymore about it. But this battle that took place during the Void Century, again, we knew it was between the Ancient Kingdom, which was pretty much led by Joy Boy, which essentially was the good guys, going against Imu and the 20 kingdoms that came together to create the world government and the Celestial Dragons, which I'm sure the Gorosei were like her commanders at that point. And it eventually came to where the Celestial Dragons won. Vegapunk says that it was a battle between two types of idea, but he cannot conclude who is right or wrong. Okay, Vegapunk, for being like the most intelligent guy in the world, you're not really that intelligent, at least outside of science, because it's pretty clear who was right and who was wrong. I mean, if you look at the way the world is currently being ran by the Celestial Dragons, it's pretty clear that they were wrong. I mean, even if you're looking at it from like a weird, I don't know, hyper genius who borderlines in sociopathy and saying, well, what's right or wrong is subjective. Even then, I think it's pretty wrong to have freaking slaves and commit genocide, right? Anyway, Mars uses Conqueror's Haki to knock out some Dendenmushi. Alright, Mars, finally kicking it up a gear. You think that they would have did this already, like the Gorosei just using Conqueror Haki EMPs to just knock out everything but not destroy it, if that makes sense. But I suppose this still isn't stopping the broadcast. Joro, our boy Venus, cuts Punk Records in half with one massive slash and frees the Seraphim. Alright, this is probably going to be a pretty cool panel. We see a Zoro-esque feat from Joro here. I guess when it says he cuts Punk Records, he's cutting like the whole thing in half, which is going to be a pretty cool feat to see. And freeing the Seraphim, who last I remember were encased in those sea stone bubble things. So now that they're free, the odds are definitely in favor of the Gorosei here. I mean, it kind of was before, considering that they're ostensibly immortal or invulnerable due to their regeneration and everything. And we knew that they were eventually going to have to be freed as well, because, you know, the Gorosei have control over them. Vegapunk says that Joy Boy's defeat marked the end of the Void Century. Okay, that's pretty interesting. So there's something that we didn't really know, I guess. And I think this implies that Joy Boy was pretty old, right? I mean, he's over 100 years old at this point. Pretty sure he existed like throughout this entire time. You know, this could go into more about him possibly being a giant, or I don't know, do Buccaneers have an extended lifespan the way the Giants do too? I don't think that's ever been explained. Maybe a little bit more, I'm not really sure, but I'm thinking that Joy Boy may have been older than what we thought, possibly. But yeah, him being defeated marks the end of the Void Century for sure, because once he was defeated, then, you know, the Celestial Dragons were essentially able to do everything that they wanted. And we'll eventually get this flashback with him, of course. It'll be very long. I mean, I'm really looking forward to it. But I suppose Joy Boy is going to be similar to the other Joy Boy analogous that we've seen throughout the story, like, you know, Roger and Nolan and Odin. And aside from Roger, they all kind of died in, you know, disappointing ways, kind of. I mean, especially Odin. And I'm thinking that Joy Boy is going to be no different. Like, he's going to be built up and glazed by Oda and like, hey, this guy was awesome, and then he just winds up dying like a punk because of something stupid that he did, or I don't know, he was just too much of a good guy and it eventually, you know, bit him in the butt for, I don't know, not being ruthless enough or something. Like, I don't think he's probably being cleanly defeated here. Like, he's probably going to die due to like him trying to save someone, or him making a deal and it backfires on him or something. But anyway, war changed the world, and continents that existed 1,000 years ago were sunk when sea levels rise 200 meters. So yeah, a lot of continents in the world are under the sea now, I suppose due to the constant use of Uranus just blowing up everything, blowing up all of Emu's enemies, or just things that they didn't want to exist anymore, to be around, because it didn't fit their narrative, and the constant use of it raised it 200 meters. So I think just using it on Lugia raised the current sea levels like 2 meters or something, so they were using it a lot, like over 100 times at this point. Vegapunk says that they live in fragments of that continent. So yeah, that's also something that we were speculating about too. Also, Nami implies this, or just straight up says it when explaining what the red line is, where she says the red line is essentially a collection of islands joined together. Throughout the red line, there's like summer islands, winter islands, things like that. So anything that wasn't destroyed was pulled together to create the red line. I think Emu might have done this by using the ancient giants, because Moria referred to Ors as the continent puller, and I think that's probably a little hint there. He says, "To war hasn't ended yet, and ancient weapons will be important in this war." In the last page, we see Emu's face still shadowed. I bet it's Emu just looking, and then a speech bubble with just ellipses, which is you know, part of the course so far. But ancient weapons, of course, are important. I mean, they're integral to ending the series. They always were. And it's looking like it's going to be Emu with Uranus, Blackbeard with Pluton, and then the Straw Hats with Shirahoshi, who is Poseidon. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this one. We're obviously going to get, or at least I hope, going to get way more into this once Redon drops the full summary. I assume that will be out tomorrow evening, US time. I will drop a video as soon as I can about it, so subscribe for that if you haven't already. Let me know what you think about all this in the comments, guys. If you liked it, please give it a like, and have a great day. See you in the next one.